The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles is a classic of personal development and was written over 100 years ago, 1907. Wallace Wattles had a series of books that all dealt with the spiritual laws, what today we call the universal laws. And he described things in his terms. He didn't have all of the scientific knowledge that we have today because it was 1907. Quantum physics really was in its infancy, was not understood really at all. But Wallace Wattles had a sense of what was true and how things worked. And his book, The Science of Getting Rich, is describing in detail why some people succeed and why some people fail, why some people get rich and why some people stay poor. He described it as doing things in a certain way. And that certain way is described in detail. And we're going to go through every chapter of that book with an hour lecture on each chapter and really take them apart in detail and look at how success really works. And that it's not just by chance. It's not just by luck. It's not just by being born in the right place at the right time. It's by law, and not just by law that we think of as something vague and spiritual, but the spiritual laws, the universal laws, are truly universal. They describe how things work in biology and in living things. They describe how things work in physics and chemistry and astronomy, and in how we develop in our personal lives. They are truly universal laws. For every physical law, there's a corresponding spiritual law. And sometimes the spiritual laws are difficult to understand, but by studying carefully and by looking at the relationship between the spiritual laws and the physical laws, we can look at things like the flow of water or the force of gravity or how things move through space. How does light work? And we can apply those physical laws to our spiritual development. It makes the way that you move through life and the way that you achieve goals, the way you succeed, predictable and repeatable, and it works for everyone every time because they're spiritual laws, they're universal laws. There's a phrase that says, as above, so below. And that means that the things that happen in our hearts, in our lives, in our spiritual development can be described by the things that happen around us in nature, around us in the physical world around us. As above, so below. The same laws. The same phrase is also said, as within, so without. If we can see it from the outside, we can also sense it or understand what's happening inside. And it's a marvelous way to relook at how you understand the world around you and your path through the world, and how you can achieve goals, set goals, how you can become a better, more expanded version of yourself and move through life in a predictable way successfully. I'm really looking forward to this. We'll have 17 weeks of hour-long meetings and go through The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. I think everyone that comes will enjoy it and will get a new insight into how they can change to the person they would love to be and achieve the goals of their dreams. And like Wallace Wattles says, there's the thinking stuff that permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. He didn't know the physics behind that, but he knew that it was true, and he described it perfectly. And we'll go through that book, which is one of my favorites, and share some thoughts and some insights that will help everyone that's there to understand and become better versions of themselves. Thank you.